Does anybody here watch To Catch a Predator?
Yes.
Okay. I saw an episode of To Catch a Predator, and I'm not making this up. This actually happened. So after the gentleman in question had his little confrontation over the milk and cookies with Chris Hansen, Hansen asked him, "Do you feel like you learned anything today?" I am dead serious. I'm going to paraphrase slightly because I can't remember the exact words he used, but the guy basically said, be careful on the internet because the person you're talking to might not actually be who you think they are. Yeah. The lesson he learned was, you might not actually be sexting an underage girl, so be careful. That was his takeaway, that he was the victim of catfishing. Well, if you think about it, that's kind of what Blue Lives Matter is like. Hey!
Yeah, fuck yeah!
Those people we're abusing are being mean to us. I matter too. I gotta go punch this out. Honey? Of course, the pedophile will actually still face jail time. Instead of getting a promotion. And who knows, in 150 years, maybe a statue.
Wow. Yes.
Did I say anything untrue? I call this next joke, Matthew McConaughey helps his friend parallel park. All right. Okay, you're good. I call this one, Nicolas Cage after he just helped the Scooby-Doo gang catch the villain. I want to take his face off. And finally, this one I call Al Pacino gets frustrated with his alphabetized CD collection. Now you're out of order! Thank you. You ever have a friend who's like really cool and they're really fired up and socially active and progressive, and then they fall in love with a bigot and the fire just dies and they roll over?
Yes.
Well, for all those people to whom this has happened, I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people, where she just randomly up and decided that this one guy matters more than black lives, apparently. Yeah, this happened to a friend of mine. She was like super politically active and like stealing Trump signs out of yards and then she fell in love with this guy who, and he's not even like an immigrants are bringing diseases bigot. He's more of he claims he's wanting to get opinions from both sides, but his opinion from one side is Ben Shapiro, and he sees that as a reasonable voice. Here's the thing though, they waited till marriage. So it's not like she even had the excuse of, it's good dick though. Which would be a terrible, fickle, reprehensible excuse, but I'll take that over. I'm willing to overlook the fact that he thinks certain people existing are sins. Who knows, after the wedding night, she could have been like, oh, that wasn't worth being complicit to transphobia. I think I owe a lot of people an apology. And I do want to say sidebar, if you do have anything against trans people, because I know some people do because they try to pull science into it, like the kind of thing people did with eugenics. And if you have anything against trans people, I'm trying to soften my persona a little bit, so I decided to rephrase this a little bit nicer. Please go get hit by a train. See, normally I would have said, I order you to jump in a meat grinder. Instead, I'm asking politely that you die quickly. See, I'm considerate that way. I'll end with one more story real quick. I am friends with a lot of couples, which gives you a lot of interesting stories.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorites. So when I was in college, I had two friends that were a couple. Three of us would go on a lot of late night food runs. She had the car on campus, so we would all go together. The routine was we'd all go grab food, we'd eat, we'd come back. I would get out of the car so the two of them could say goodnight. And then she would walk back to the women's dorm, and he and I would walk back to the men's dorm. Because they separated the dorms by gender, because, I don't know, something to do with Jesus. They found a way to connect that somehow. But one night, after we finished eating, we get there, I get out of the car, and it's lightly raining. Now, it's not like pouring, it's just kind of drizzling. It's actually a little bit pleasant. So I'm leaning against the back bumper of the car with my drink, and I don't know what is being said, but I can hear that something is being said. And it is very evident that she is clearly asking him for some form of release before they go to bed.
Fuck yeah.
And I am waiting outside, making that really depressing, like finishing my drink. It looks like something out of a like rom-com. And so finally, this goes on for a little while. Finally, and he's clearly trying to tell her, look, I love you. I'll see you in the morning. We gotta go. So finally, he opens the door, and I don't remember what he said, but he was just saying, look, I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. And she says, baby, I'm so wet. And he says, yeah, well, so is Will. And that is one of the funniest things I've ever heard anyone say in my life. Thank you so much. I'm Will Lasley. You guys have a great night.